Hi everyone, this is Ed from Demon Speed Motorsports. I'm here to talk to you today about the Demon Speed Motorsports double height jack stands. Now the double height jack stands are a great way to be able to get your car up in the air at the track or at home high enough that you're able to work on it underneath safely. What we have showing here on the table is what you would get. This would be 2 rear and 1 front lower components, and then 3 of the second stage components. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take them and we're going to put them under the car, and we're actually going to raise it up onto the double height and show you a proper technique for bringing them up onto the second height so that nothing tragic happens. So what I'm going to do now is I'll take all the first stage jacks. You can see that the car is up in the air on its AirJax right now. And the way that we start is we start with the bar pulled back. One of them is labeled front, as you might expect. That's the one that's supposed to be on the front AirJack. The only thing you need to be careful about when you're planning on going up onto the second stage is to make sure that the jack stand is very well centered around the AirJack. Now the 3 lower jack stands are mounted under the AirJax. We'll go ahead and release the air pressure, allowing the AirJax to set down onto the jack stands. And what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and we'll slide the slider bar across on all 3 jack stands. A great thing to do when you've slid the bar across is to feel on the other side to make sure that the bar is slid completely over and it isn't just most of the way over. Now what we're going to do is lift the car up onto the AirJax again so we can put the second stage jack stands on. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to take down the pressure with the regulator, attach the wand, open the pressure on the tank, and then slowly bring the pressure up on the car. And what you'll see happening is the car will slowly raise the front first, and then one of the rears second. The reason why you don't want to do this quickly is because if you bring them up too quickly all at once, the car can actually bounce, and the foot could bounce oddly so that it will be hard to get the car back down. Now that we've done this, we can go ahead and put the second stage and nest them into the lower portion of the jack stands. Once the second stage jack stands are in place, now we can release the pressure gently on the car. So now the weight of the car is supported completely by the jack stands and not by the AirJax at all. So now that you have the car up in the air, I'm going to very quickly go through the process of removing it. from the jack stands. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and put the AirJax up so that we can pull the second stage AirJax stands out. So with everything shut off and the pressure bled off, which you can do here, we go ahead and we bring up, we bring them up onto the jack stands gently. And remove the second stage. Now that the second stage jack stands are removed, we can lower the car down on the single stage jack stands. You're going to be wanting to do this very carefully, just as you did putting it up in the air. The way that you do this is you release the air by pulling up on the release very slowly. So you bleed the air off very slowly. Once that's done, we remove the bars from the locked location. We put the car back up on the jack stands, AirJax, and remove the first stage jack stands out from under it. And there you have it. That was bringing the car up onto the two-stage jack stands and setting it back onto the ground after you're done. A couple of the points that we want to take a look at a little bit more carefully, if you'll come over here, is that I mentioned the slider bar. This is the slider bar. So when you engage the slider bar to go up onto the second stage and you slide it over, you want to make sure that you feel on the other side of it that it's fully come over and that the hole in it is about even with the edge of the jack stand. And when we added the second stage jack stand, I mentioned that you wanted to nest it. You can see that the second stage jack stand has a recess actually on both sides, so they're able to be used either way. And the lower jack stand, the first stage, has a raised area. When you put them on top of one another, they nest into one another just like that, so that you know that they're properly engaged. For more information on the two-stage jack stands that you've seen here today that can be used on anything from the 996 through the 997.2 Cup cars, you can visit us at www.demonspeedmotorsports.com or give us a call at 216-333-1200.